Welcome back to Hannity. So the mainstream media continues to try and damage Dr. Benjamin Carson's presidential campaign by either putting words in his mouth or by taking him out of context deliberately. Now, Dr. Carson has generated so-called controversies for not giving, quote, politically correct answers. Take a look at some of his comments. You decide for yourself.
I would not advocate that we put a Muslim in charge of this nation. I absolutely would not agree with that.
If there had been no gun control laws in Europe at that time, would 6 million Jews have been slaughtered?
I think the likelihood of Hitler being able to accomplish his goals would have been greatly diminished if the people had been armed. Not only would I probably not cooperate with him, I would not just stand there and let him shoot me. I would say, hey guys, everybody attack him. He may shoot me, but he can't get us all.
This morning you said that you'd be very comfortable if kindergarten teachers had guns in the classroom. Why do you think that's a good idea?
Not all kindergarten teachers. I said people who are trained and understand all the implications. And you obviously are not just going to have a weapon sitting on the kindergarten teacher's desk. The guy comes in, puts the gun in my ribs, and I just said, I believe that you want the guy behind the counter. He thought I was.
That's what you said in that calm way.
In that
calm way. Okay.
He said, "Oh, okay."
All right. Predictably, the media is not a fan of Dr. Carson's style. Here's how they have been spinning his remarks. Watch this.
You said the people in Germany didn't speak up when Nazism was on the rise, and I guess what I wonder is, do you think it's that close here, or is that just hyperbole? Extermination of an entire race, which was the Nazi goal, that's a pretty big thing to compare our current situation to.
You suggested maybe arming more people, even kindergarten teachers. Are more guns really the answer? That could be security guards, though, not necessarily the teachers, correct?
And you suggested that if the Jews had been armed, if they had had guns, Hitler could not have succeeded. Isn't that mischaracterizing the enormity of what happened?
Here with reaction, the Black Sphere's Kevin Jackson and Fox News contributor, our friend Ebony Williams, who's back with us. Do you not agree with me? I believe they've taken so much out of context. For example, I want armed guards in school, retired policemen, retired military people. Wouldn't you prefer that they be there if, God forbid, there was a shooting at your son or daughter's school?
Well, look, Sean, they are so frustrated, the mainstream media, with how Dr. Ben Carson is campaigning. And quite frankly, I find it fantastic to watch because he is not the one-liner guy. He is not the guy that's going to be limited to sound bites. He is forcing the media to take his full concern, his full position into account. And either they are unwilling or unable to do so. And it really bodes poorly on them and well for him. He's winning with this.
Yeah, it's more than that. I had Dr. Benjamin Carson on about the comments about a Muslim president. He said, well, if they support Sharia and they don't denounce the treatment of women in Muslim countries, or if they want Sharia law in this country, yeah, I'm against that. Very specific details that people keep out.
Very full and specific. Now, I think that this is a place where you're right. Dr. Carson he benefits when he's specific. Now, I have to say, Sean, there's a concern from many on the left that Dr. Ben Carson wants to eliminate certain programs that he himself might have benefited from. And I say that because if he can clarify that position, that again bodes very well for him, and it broadens the electorate that he will appeal to.
All right, let me go to you, Kevin. Look, not everybody is going to rush a guy that's in a classroom shooting. In this particular case in Oregon, the guy was saying, you, stand up. Are you a Christian? If you say yes, you get shot in the head. If you didn't answer or you said something else, you were shot in the leg. Look, you're trained in martial arts. I'm trained in martial arts. I'm trained in the use of firearm. You're trained in the use of firearm. That's exactly what we train to do. Now, I don't expect everybody would do that. But if people would do that, it makes sense, because then he can't kill everybody. So I didn't find that comment at all controversial, but the media went insane with it.
Yeah, well, the media wants to go insane over stuff like that, Sean, because we're raising a nation of lemmings. We're raising a group of people who are no longer ready to be warriors to protect America, to protect our way of life, to protect the constitutional principles that Ben Carson talks about. His book is dedicated to standing up for constitutional principle. Look, it's a very simple thing to ask, Sean. What would you do to protect your children? It's a knee-jerk response to say, I would do anything to protect my kids. I've got 4 sons. If there's a gunman somewhere, I'm not going to sit around and get asked a question about
Kevin,
my religion
you and I,
or anything.
All we do is talk about it. We have plans to train together. In our martial arts, we have different studies, but we're on the same page. You and I would rush them together. We'd look at each other, we'd wink, and we'd go. But you know what? Maybe if that happened once in a while, or if we had retired policemen and retired military people in schools, maybe this would happen less often. And I've been arguing for a long time we need to defend these kids because they are sitting ducks in these these gun-free zones, as they call them.
But to that point, though,
Absolutely.
Sean, if I was teaching kindergarten, I couldn't do that, right? I'm not trained the way you and Kevin are. But so that's Dr. Carson being specific
We will
again,
train you.
right?
Kevin and I will train you.
All right, just making sure I'm trained. I want to be ready.
Listen, I don't think anyone should pick up a firearm until they're trained, ever.
Sure, and that's what he said.
Look, I think the bigger issue here is around just them making a mockery of everything Dr. Carson says, and in effect trying to delegitimize him. I think partly it is. They see that he's a real threat. You cannot make a brain surgeon an idiot. And the fact of the matter is they've invested in an idiot for a long time, and they've got to marginalize Dr. Ben Carson.
You know, they did this to Herman Cain, too. Wait a minute. They did this to Herman Cain, too. You know, he performed over 15,000 surgeries, and he also consulted in thousands more. He did the most complicated surgeries imaginable, and he had 6 cases, which is negligible in terms of suits against him, and they tried to make that into a big deal.
No, I think he's brilliant, Sean, but I don't think that it's because he's black. I think it's because he's a different type of candidate.
Are they attacking him because he's a black conservative? Black conservatives are treated horribly in this country.
They are treated horribly. I have some friends that are, and they tell me the stories, and they're horrible. Anybody that doesn't subscribe to a very limited belief can be treated bad.
Let me make one. Okay, one quick point. If Dr. Ben Carson wasn't running for president, he would be canonized in the black community, pure and simple. Because he is, and he's got an R after his name, or he's running on our ticket, they can't stand it.
I got to leave it there. Thank you both. Welcome aboard, by the way. Good to see you. Coming up next, well, our Ask Sean segment is coming up, and we need your help. An important question of the day straight ahead.